Hey to those of you that have joined so far. I'm guessing some of you might be Danish, but can you hear me correctly? Is everything working with the sound and the video and everything? So here we go. I'm assuming everybody can hear me loud and clear. If not, please say so in the chat right now. So what we're going to do today, and thank you for watching, by the way. We're probably not going to be that many people watching live, but I'm making this video for people in general, because the last video I made on the 9 was a bit rough, and I found a smarter way to get into the camera now that it can take a little bit longer, but it's a bit more safe. So anybody have any problems or issues with the sound? If not, let's move on. What you need to know about the GoPro 9 is that the GoPro 9 is one of the hardest cameras, if not the hardest camera to get into of all the GoPros. And the reason for this is that this whole portion right here has been glued on. Let me adjust the camera slightly here. So this is glued on. This whole portion here as well is glued on. So there's no easy way to get into this. You actually have to break it in order to get into it. The first thing you want to do before doing anything at all with this camera is you want to take your battery. Let me just find mine here. Here we go. Want to take your battery, insert it, and once you insert it, you power it on. And once you power it on, you need to follow the instructions on here on how to connect it to your phone, because once this is a naked camera, we won't have any buttons on it. You have to connect through it. You have to connect on it with your phone. Now the problem is that in order to make this connection, you actually need the back display. So if you don't have the back display, if you, let's say you break this, or you break the cord inside that connects it, and you haven't set it up, you actually won't be able to use your camera anymore. So that's very important. So first step, set it up so you can connect with your phone. The next step you want to do is you want to follow the link in the chat for the GoPro Labs firmware. Now it's very simple. It's stated on the page what you do, but basically you just download the firmware, you put it on the SD card, and you put the SD card in, you power it on. It takes a minute or so, and then everything is updated, and it will just run. The GoPro Labs firmware does a lot of things. It can actually make this camera work as a motion detector. You could basically put it on your quad, and once you power on the quad and give the camera power, it will notice when you're moving or when you're doing something and start recording. I wouldn't recommend that though. Yeah, the motion blur of my feed, I think it's part of the live stream limitation. I won't be, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Is it too much? Let me see if I can do something here. Let me just quickly Google it. Motion blur on live feed YouTube. Oh, actually, there's a fix here. 1 second. So let me just real quick see that. Some guys explain it. So if you give me 10 seconds, hopefully I can fix this. I wasn't aware of that. Sorry. So I have to listen to what he's saying. So hang on. It seems like an easy fix, so give me 1 minute, 1 sec. Let's see what the guy's saying here, hang on. Okay, it seems like I have to do something. Let me just try to make a real quick setting here on the video. So he's saying, do this, hang on. Yeah, sorry, everything is just gonna mess up for 1 second, so hang on. Let's see if this is actually better. There's a lot of motion blur on that. Oh my god. Is this motion blur actually better right now? I know it's a smaller picture, and I'm gonna enlarge it, but does this seem like it's better? Okay, so this is better. Excellent. So it's not that good of a quality when it's zoom in, but you guys can still see it, right? Alrighty, let's go. Let's move. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So it turns out I was setting too high of a rate for my webcam. So my webcam was like, no, I'm stressed. All right, so we've done all the things. The thing about GoPro Labs that is very important is that it can make the GoPro understand QR codes, meaning that you can actually have an app on your phone. I actually think I've got it so I can show you guys. So let's see, QR codes. So you get this QR control. And what you can do is actually you can set your settings here. So you can set your settings for everything in the camera, including ProTune, which is very important. And then it will save a picture, and you can actually have this picture as a picture on your phone and show the camera that picture, and it will set the settings for it, which is very handy. Now, the last thing that you have to remember is never update your camera. GoPro recently removed ProTune from your camera, and ProTune, for those of you that don't know, is the ability to lock the ISO and to set a lot of settings that we need for making cinema footage, or cinematic footage, I should say. So if it asks you to update, always say no. If you do update it, you might be screwed if you're on an iPhone. There are some workarounds, but I haven't tried them myself. I know that for an Android, you can install an earlier version of the GoPro app. So just don't update. Let's get down to this. So the first thing we want to do is we want to remove this. This is just a snap thing. And if I'm making too much noise with the microphone because it's standing on the same table, let me know and I'll put it somewhere else. So what we actually want to do here is the old way I was doing it before was I'm trying to preserve as much as possible, but all we actually need to preserve in this camera is, let's see here, let me get my own live preview so I can see what I'm doing. Hang on, I need to figure out where the camera is actually at. So what I need to do here is I normally cut around the band here. So this whole thing here I would cut away, because once you cut this away, you can actually get into the camera. But the real problem here is actually the front and the back. So what I've started doing now is getting this part away. And today I'm going to try something a little bit new. I'm going to try to remove the back screen, hopefully in one piece. And then I'm going to try and see if I can get the chipset out without actually destroying the case. The hardest part of all of this is this part here. Well, everything is hard, but one of the harder parts. So this metal thing right here is not, I mean, you'd think that you could unscrew these screws and pull it out. You cannot do that. What you have to do is you have to remove those screws, and then you have to remove the back, and then you have to actually push on the lens so the lens goes a little bit out. And underneath from there you can see 3 legs. And those 3 legs you can actually cut and snip, and once you do that, you can now remove the lens. The problem is, if you don't do this, you cannot take the lens out that way, and you cannot take the lens out that way. There are 3 screws on this piece in here, but those 3 screws are impossible to get to from this place here. So that's why I'm snipping them. I know that traditionally people want to, let me just find an old lens here. I think I've got one here. Lens. We have a lens here. So traditionally, let's see if I can get this out. Traditionally, people want to preserve the 3 legs on the lens, because that way you can make a mount and you can screw it on. I'm not a very big fan of this method because, first of all, it's hard to preserve those legs. Secondly, the cases I make, which I'll show at the end of the video, I press the camera into, and you can see there has some tape around here. All that this tape is doing is actually making a press fit. So once I push it in, it actually gets pretty stuck. I sometimes also use I actually don't have that nearby, but I'm using some double-sided tape, which is very thick. It has this rubbery feeling, which means that when the lens gets pushed into the casing, it is sort of extra stabilized. So we'll get to that. Let's put this back. Bye-bye, camera. Right. So this is going to take a while. I'm not going to judge you if you leave, because some of this might be boring. The tools I'm using here is I'm using a spudger. Normally you would actually want a spudger that's a bit more hard than this, but you're using the spudger to let go of the cables, to remove the cables without damaging them. I am using this, which is just basically a screwdriver with these heads. So there are some special heads you're going to be needing. This one, I don't remember what it's called, to be honest. It's, but maybe it says on here. Yeah, it does. It's a Torx, T-O-R-X, T4. That's the one you need for removing a lot of these screws, including these ones at the bottom of the mount. That's the smallest one you're going to be using. The rest of them are different screws, and then we have a traditional screwdriver here. But before I do anything, I take this piece of tape. Oh, and I actually forgot the most important tool, this. We'll get to that. So the first thing we do is we put this over the lens. You could argue that I could simply leave the glass lens on. Actually, let's do that, because that's what many of you are going to be doing. I have my reasons for not doing it, but I have so many of these right now, I don't care if it gets scratched. So we want to get in from the back. We don't want to damage this. This is there's a lot of ways to power this, and I have two ways of powering it. One is by using the USB port, the USB-C port. The other one is by using the battery port on the inside. So we'll have to see. Everything should hopefully survive. Anyway, the way you get into this is by using a jagged knife. Now, a jagged knife is the tool because a sharp knife won't cut it, but you need a jagged knife. This is basically rubber. I'll show you guys. I'll demolish this a little bit for you, so you can see how soft this is. Let me see. And you shouldn't be too worried about doing this. I mean, I know for many of you guys that are going to do this as your first one, you're going to want to preserve the screen, but this will not ruin the screen. So you can see how soft this is, and this is all the way around. Okay. So what you actually want to do is you want to get a corner, just any corner. Watch your fingers, of course, and I hope I don't bloody myself in this one. But if you, I don't know if you can see, there's a hard edge. There's a split right here. So you can see on one side here, it's the soft material, on the other, it's a hard plastic. So you want to get the knife in between those. And all you want to do is just grind away a little bit. Just don't do it fast. Basically, just give it a good amount of force and make sure you get in there. This should sound fantastic on the microphone, by the way. So that's what you want to do, and you need to do this a lot, okay? So I'm using a few different tools for doing this. Once I get deep in, I'm using the screwdriver. I'm also using this to just make a groove. So let's see if I can show this on the camera. You should be able to see that these are very sharp, what do you call them, pliers? So I'm just basically getting one in there, setting the other, and then just kind of digging to make a sort of opening. It's all about making that opening. But the latest tool I've found that I actually really like using is a pair of very small scissors, because with these, and it's a pretty soft material, you can actually just grind in it like this, and that almost went wrong. So let's see, just grind, grind, grind. Because once you're grinding in this, what's happening is you cannot damage anything on the inside from this angle because there's a metal bar around it. So by doing this here, I'm actually just making a hole, and this seems like it might be dangerous, but it's actually not. And this is the part that's going to take the longest. So if you want to get a cup of coffee, now is a really good time for it. So we're gonna do this, and as you can hear my voice, this takes a lot of strength. So now that I've made a hole, I'm gonna take this screwdriver, I'm gonna put it in, I'm just slowly gonna etch it a little bit. Not too much, because I don't want the screen to crack, so I'm just gonna do this around. See, I actually cracked this piece here, but that really doesn't matter. The only downside with this is that I cannot push here anymore, so let's go over here. See, you can see I can already lift a little bit. But actually, I forgot one thing, and this is probably the first thing you should start off with, because this is metal, and this actually holds everything very tightly together. Let's just remove that bit real fast. This is just 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. And these screws are magnetic, or not magnetic, the thing here is actually magnetic, the whole, what do you call it, the whole foot. So be aware of that, because I've been looking for my screws for a long time, couldn't find them, and it turns out that they were just stuck on the inside of this. Okay, let's see, that's 4. So we take this out, and you could actually save this for later. Let's see your question. Do you reckon when they send the GoPro? I actually don't think so. I mean, I've actually been making products for many years in my life, and I don't think that the back screen is the last piece that goes on. Well, actually, that might depend. Actually, it could. Yeah, it probably is the last piece that goes on. Now that I think about it, because I was thinking of the 6, 7, and 8s. Yeah, on this one, it definitely is the last piece that goes on, because once you open this, you see all the electronics. So just put it on and heat it up. I also know that some people like to use a 3D printer bed to heat this up before and see if they can get the glue to unstick. I think that's a bad idea, because if you, for some reason, overcook it or you get a little too much heat, you might damage some of the cables inside or the components. And for the GoPro 9, you cannot get new components. So this, while it looks unsafe, is actually a safer method. Now we've removed this, and the reason for removing it is that it provides a lot of stability here. This is actually a very hard plastic right here. Okay, so let's grind on. So now we've made one corner, because I can feel and I can hear and I know by now that this is about to be pretty open. Let's move to the next corner. I'm just gonna do one little, sawing like this, and then I'm going to do a little more. And that wonderful sound of a GoPro screaming is just, sometimes if I take walks in nature, I like to think of that sound. It makes me happy. All right, let's see here. So you want to do all 4 corners, and then you want to do the bridge between them. But sometimes it's enough to just do 2 corners. Actually, we should probably just try that so you guys can see. So let's do this corner over here. And if you have to pick corners to begin with, actually, you probably should start with these corners up here, because this is a very hard surface. Meaning that when I began from this side, I'm sorry for doing it backwards, but you can see I'm bending this piece here. And that has no significance other than it now won't support my knife going in the same groove. Whereas up here, you cannot just break that piece. So, but now I'm committed. Let's do it this way. I'm just gonna make a small groove here first. Yeah, actually, I didn't make enough of a groove. So as you can see, getting into the GoPro 9 isn't that easy. And I know that a lot of people are doing this a different way, and there's no wrong way to do it. The only wrong way is if you break it. But, and this might come as a shock for you guys, but if you have the GoPro warranty on this, the serial number resides inside the battery case, and GoPro will cover any GoPro in any condition. So if you do this and you fuck it up and you just destroy it, you put it in the bag, you send it in, you get a new one. And I'm sorry to say, but that actually works as well if you have pulled out the print and you keep all these parts. So for the love of God, keep all the parts. If this goes bad, put them in a bag and say, it got run over. You're going to get a new one. Now, I'm not going to guarantee you're going to get a new one, but I know that a lot of people have done this so far, and I've done it also. So in that sense, it is kind of risk-free doing this. The only thing you stand to lose right now is your fingers. So let's see here. We've made some pretty good gaps here, but it is not enough. We need a little bit more. Let's see if we can get the scissor in there. Yep. I'm just grinding away, just taking my time. I mean, I'm obviously stressing a little bit because I know you guys are watching, but it is all about taking time. I usually like to watch a movie while I do this, just to have some background noise. So by doing what I'm doing right now, just doing this in the same spot over and over, let me actually correct this so you guys can see more. I'm just grinding into the material because it is just glue that I'm grinding into at this point. There's nothing underneath there. So let's see. See, now I'm getting pretty good in there. So what I want to do now is I've made this corner and I've made this corner. I want to make this piece here. This is not about force. This is just about stamina. How does this sound on the stream? Does it sound pretty brutal? Because I'd imagine so. See, we are getting in there. And the sound you can hear, the crunchy sound, is actually me hitting this piece here, the metal piece. That's the reason for it. We don't need that piece, so we could just take it out. I don't know if it's ready to go out yet. It might be. Holy crap, Batman. That piece is lost forever. So yeah, if you do what I just did, actually, let me give you a warning, because this is very hard plastic, and that was a very hard metal pole. Don't do it as I do. I have glasses on, so if that would have hit my glasses, they would have got scratched, but my eyes would have been fine. If you didn't have glasses on, and that flew out at that pace, you could have damaged your eyes seriously. So just take a little bit of care, please. It's not fun having a camera if you're blind, basically. So let's see here. So we're getting in there. Let's see if we can actually pry this open. Let me adjust the camera a little bit again. Yeah, so I'm just holding tight on the whole thing, not using too much force. I don't want the screwdriver to do this. I just want to see if I can actually get in and lift it up a little bit, just a little bit. See, what I'm doing right here is actually moving it. We're moving a little bit to a different place, doing the same thing. And see, this is actually the problem I was talking about. This is the first time this has happened to me, that I've destroyed this ridge, and that's actually a problem because I use it for leverage. But having said that, we can just go in from the other side, which I would recommend you going in from the 9 side. But we'll make it work. See, here we have a good gap. You see that? So if I really wanted to get in now, I could just crack the screen. I'm not going to do that. Well, I hope I'm not going to do that. So here we go. Yep, I can feel the glue loosening over here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it here, as you can see, and just very slowly move down. And be careful not to stab yourself with this, because that will happen as you go along here, and this requires a lot of force. You're making a bigger gap, but at some point you cannot push it anymore. But you've made a really good ridge, and then you take the blade of doom and you continue a little bit. Here we go. We're definitely getting closer. Yep, almost there. But I can see that I'm cutting into the hard part right now. So let's make a groove on the other. See, we're going from here to there. Let's try making a groove here, just to give the knife something to fall into, if that makes sense. So making a hard groove here, and I'm making a kind of a path to where I've already made a carving. That sense. So now I can see that I'm actually in there. You can see how deep in the knife is, right? And again, I wouldn't be too worried about this. The cables for the screen is up here. They're about here and here. So as long as you don't stab the knife in there, you should be fine. But this might be enough to actually open it up. Depends on how much glue is left. But let's try. Let's see. Nah, we need a little bit more. Yeah, we need this to loosen as well. But once you've loosened one corner, it's actually just a matter of time before you get in there, because it's about to give up. Let's see here. Yeah, almost. Yeah, sorry about the shaking of the camera, but this requires some force. Let's use the scissor again. The scissor, I mean, this is a hobby scissor. If you actually have a chance of buying one, go get one. It's curved and it's pretty thin. I'm using this for everything. It was one of those purchases that when I originally saw it like 15 years ago in a hobby shop, I was like, yeah, I don't need that. And it was pretty expensive. And the guy was like, yeah, it's going to be your #1 tool. And I just thought, you know, he's just trying to sell me scissors. And every time I broke one of these, immediately I went out and bought one. I was like, this is my tool. It's just good for everything. And no, you cannot buy any scissors from me. I'm not a scissor pusher, so it's not advertising. Okay. You can see that we're actually getting somewhere, which is nice. Yeah, so, but as you can see here, we have everything open over here. We need this part as well. So slowly moving around. And this is the boring part. We're going to get to the electronics in, I'm reckoning, about 4 or 5 minutes, and we should be able to see inside. Maybe less, could be less. And again, when I'm sawing, I'm not risking damaging the camera, because you can feel when you're getting inside on this piece here. But on the back, you are actually able to, I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can show you guys. You could actually slide your knife all the way in. The only thing you can damage from the back is the 2 cables for the screen. You don't want to do that, of course. If, however, you are sawing from this side, you cannot damage anything, because there's going to be a metal ridge around it, which is going to be the first thing you hit. So that's nice. All right, let's see if we can do this. Yeah, we need a little bit more of the knife loving. See, now I can hear that we're actually getting in. Yep. So just need this. Oh, we got in. Here we go. So now, what I'm doing now is I'm lifting. I just want to see where the cables are. They're there. So I'm lifting, and I'm just, notice that I'm not actually pulling. I'm just holding it in this position and keeping on holding it in this position with adding a little bit of force, because then slowly I can feel that the glue is going. And instead of holding up top, the more you get in, the more you want to let your fingers hold a little bit further down, like this. I could just pull and get in there. Okay, so can you see the cables in there? You probably can't, but I can see the cables. So we're actually basically in. I just want to loosen one little thing down here to make sure that it kind of gives up, because this whole thing here is still glued. So I could just pull, but let's do it properly. Just gonna saw here and basically break that glue connection. So that should do it. Yep, here we go. So I actually just pulled this one off. So let me show you guys what's here. Let me get my pointing tool. So this little piece here goes down to this little piece here. This piece here is stuck over here. So those 2 wires are what you need for the screen. I'm going to lift them up, and I hope you can see this. I put the spudger. Let me position this a little bit differently. So I'm going to be putting the spudger underneath and flipping it. And voila, we now have a, oh Jesus Christ. We now have the first part done. So this is all the electronics. In order to get the rest off, you just do like that, and it should come off. And if it doesn't, you go a little bit to the side. Now, as you can see here, the screen is completely unharmed, uncracked. Has a little bit of a dent there. It's not the prettiest screen ever, but it works. So the rest of it. Now, what we want to do here is, this is the battery lid, this is the lens, and then we have some weird parts here that we don't need. Let's actually just move on with it. So the first thing I do is, you need a screwdriver like this, and notice how this screwdriver has the same width as the head. The reason for that is, you have a hole here. Let me see if I'm centered on the camera. You have a hole here and a hole here, and you need the screwdriver to go all the way through and catch that little screw down there. So that's a screw I'm catching. So we unscrew, and we take the second hole, this one. We unscrew that one, and then we put it on the side, and we tap it a little bit. Now we have 2 screws. Put them aside, always save your screws, because you might be needing them for something else later. Now we've loosened this, we need to loosen the last piece, which is this one. So let's see here. There we go. So with all of these 3 screws loosened, you can take your screwdriver and put it in, and then just push up. Just push in different places. So first I'm pushing here, then I'm pushing here, then I'm pushing here, then I'm pushing here. And just take your time with it. And once it's loose, you simply take it. And this part is very important. So now there are 3 ways of connecting a naked GoPro to your quad. So let me get a pointing tool here. One is the USB port. This is the USB port, USB-C. It's sitting right here. Let me see if I can point this. And that's this cable right here. The second one, and you can use that of course to power directly. So the second one is this one. This is for the whole battery lid thing. So if I just pop this off, I can just save this battery thing, and this means that I could pop it back on, put a battery in, and it will work. But you can also make a custom power solution for this. There's a bit of difficulty with this. Let me just very quickly run through it. If you see down here, so you can see down here there's a thing. Oh, here we go. This thing right here has 4 legs on it. That's a custom print board. And without being 100% right in the technical side of things, what this does is that it takes the battery power and then it runs through this print and then it feeds it into the camera. And I believe that the GoPro 9 needs 4 volt coming in here through that. So what you can do is you can do this. Let me find one that I've made. Let's see if I have it here, because I actually packaged this away. Yeah, I might not even have any right. Let me check the last thing here. Because what you can do, what you will do in order to, yeah, here we go. What you're going to do in order to use these, yes, here we are, is you're going to, sorry, a lot of stuff here. Yeah, so what you're going to do is, you're going to do this. You're basically going to, see if I can get this up. I wasn't planning on showing this, so bear with me. Actually, let's do it like this. And yes, don't use gaffer because it's duct tape, because it's annoying as hell to get rid of. But it was all I had when I made this, and I had to go shoot something. So this board, this little board here, is actually the board that is, let me clean this up 1 sec. Sorry about the sniffling. Okay, so down here you have this thing, that right there. So that thing you need to get out if you want to use the second way of powering it. And the way you get this out is that there's a little screw here, there, you unscrew this, and then you might have to break the side open with something like these and get this out. Once you have this out, you can solder it directly onto this board. So this board comes from a GoPro 9 battery. So you see this hump up here? That hump is where this board is lying. When you do this, you have to be very careful, because on the back of this board, there's very clearly labeled, and you might not be able to see this on the cam, but there's a minus side and the plus side. So this goes to your power, where you want to plan to get your power from. But this piece up here, that's, and I'm just going to hold this so you can use this as a reference. So notice the color-coded cables, and notice how I'm holding this if you want to do this yourself. So if you take the cables from here and you solder them onto that, then what you put in here will hit this one and power the quad. Now this has to be 1 cell. So meaning that you have to power from a 1 cell of a battery. You should never put like a 3 cell or 4 cell directly on this, or power it straight from the FC. You're going to burn it. You're going to kill your GoPro. And I know, because I just did this with 2 of mine by accident. So what you want to do is you want to make a small converter so you can suck power from one of the cells off your quad. Or you can do the other thing, which I've also made, I'm not going to show now, which is you make a custom BC so that you can hook it up to a 3S or a 4S, and those 3 or 4S hits the custom BC, which outputs to 4 volt, which goes into this one, which then goes into this. So the reason for doing this, the reason for using this connector right here instead of all the other options is that this connector down here is, it's very sturdy. It has a really good connection. It doesn't just die. Whereas this USB thing over here, it's a very good solution, but it's, let me show you, it's very flimsy. So you could imagine what would happen if you have a USB cable in here and you're flying and it pulls on it. Eventually you're going to destroy that port right there. The last way you can power is by doing this. Let me take this off. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, you don't want to live there. You want to live a different place. Come on, you gotta go. You gotta go, man. Oh, here we go. So let me see if I can point this out, because this is going to be small. Where did my screwdriver go? Here we go. So, and I take no responsibility for you doing this, because this has not been documented yet, but I know that it works. You can sort of see on the cam feed that this is the port that I was just using for the GoPro, for the USB. Now, this over here, this part of the port, so this right side, this metal piece here is plus. And this dot right here on the board is minus. No, oh Jesus Christ. Don't do that. That's a mistake. I didn't mean that. Sorry. Okay, listen. Erase everything you know. We're starting in Blackman style. I mean in black style. So this is plus. This side here is plus. I also believe that this is plus. I also believe that this down here is plus. And I also have tested that this whole portion of the print here you can actually scratch. And if you solder onto there, that's also plus. You don't want solder to get into the plug, because if you do that, you don't know if it's plus or minus. This is ground. So I hope that makes sense. So that's also a way of powering it if you, let's say you destroy the plug. But the disadvantage of soldering things onto this, which I find a very big disadvantage, is that you can put some hot glue on the solder that you do, but if you crash, it might rip that portion off the board, kind of destroying it. It's going to pull that piece of print off. I don't like that. So in my videos, I've been using the USB-C port forever, and I've just been flying carefully, basically. And if it pulls on the cable, it pulls this out, and these have survived. Well, I had one cable die on me where it got pulled out so that the plug in here, the connection in here, got damaged. But that's happened once in 6 months. Your mileage could vary. I mean, you could definitely lose one. So anyway, that's how I'm doing it. So I'm doing it through the USB-C port. You can also do it through this, or you can solder it. Let's move on. So what you want to do now is you want to take this and remove it. You don't want to go from this side. You want to go from this side with the spudger. Let me see if you can see this properly. Put it in under. And now this spudger isn't hard enough to do this, actually. So I'm just going to try a bit more. You really need a stiff spudger for this. All right. Screw it. I'm gonna do it with my finger, if I can. Just okay. This is hardcore. Okay, so using my nails. And again, you want to make sure that when you do all of this, inside here is the serial number. Take your phone, take a picture of that, enlarge it, go make a GoPro subscription. In Denmark, it costs 89 kroner a month, which is about, I don't know, 10 euros, something like that. And this is where your warranty lies. So that's how they know that this is the right camera. So save these. These are very important. Okay, next step. We've removed this. What we want to do next is deattach all cables. That's very important. So we remove this one. This one is for the USB-C port. And the reason why we want to remove them is simply so that when we pull something, they don't get stuck. This up here is for this thing up here, which controls the start-stop record button. We're not going to have this on, but it's, I mean, there's no reason in breaking stuff if we might need it later, you know. Let's see here. We go in with the spudger. Again, it's just a matter of getting underneath it, but it can be a little bit hard. God damn it. Usually what I like to do is, and this is pretty hard here, I like to go where the cable is, under the cable, and lift. There we go. So that's loosened as well. We're going to loosen this one also. This one here is for the front screen. And actually, before we do anything else, we should maybe have tested if this works. but it's working, I'm pretty sure. Let me find my my power bank. Here we go. So we have ample power. I've disconnected the USB-C port, which means that I have to put it back on, which kind of sucks. And the reason that this is kind of hard to do is because everything is so tight fitting inside this cabinet right now. Now, when you want to plug these plugs in, it's not hard to do, but you do need to be a little bit gentle. Once you you put your finger on here and you feel that it's in the right groove, you have to apply a little bit of pressure. Okay, actually, I'm not going to test this right now because I wouldn't do that normally. I just want to do it for you guys, but I'm pretty sure this is working. And the reason I don't want to do that is because this cable here, pushing on it right now might actually damage it. So once you have to push these cables in, you have to put them on and kind of feel that there's connection, and then give a slow pressure. And if you feel that's moving a little bit, you can click it. Anyway, next thing we want to do, and this might seem weird, but this piece here is not needed. So what you actually do is you take this piece. Okay, oh, sorry, we have to unscrew some screws first here. I think that this is the one. So there's a screw down here. How do I show this best? Here. You can see it pretty clearly when you have your camera in your hand. So all of these screws right here, we're going to remove now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that I can see right now. Just going to unscrew them all. And go. So we're missing a screw here. I can see that. So that's this one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now we've done that. You can see that this piece here is pretty interesting, because what does this piece do? Absolutely nothing. Here you go. So this piece here you can actually cut. I just don't do it. It's bad luck, I guess. I don't know. This is the lens itself. We could actually try to remove the lens now, but the lens is still screwed in here, so let's not do that. What we want to do instead is we want to loosen all the remaining parts. So right now we have this piece up here. I don't know if you can see that here. There's a screw, and this is pretty hard to unscrew. I actually had to change screwdrivers for this one. I had to use a screwdriver, what do you call it, torque with a sharper edge. So let's see if we can get to it. I'm applying a lot of pressure, by the way. I'm really pushing in on this screw right now. And the reason that this is so hard to unscrew, well, is that it's stuck up here. So that's actually what's holding the top print. So here we go. That's done right there. So this is loose. We then have these screws here. We have one here, and one there, and they're holding this top print onto the whole thing. We cannot get to this one before we remove the lens. And then we have some screws in here that are actually holding the lens. Now this might be hard for you to see, so let me see if I can show you. So right here is a Torx screw, and right here, I think all the way down here is a Torx screw, but the last one we cannot get to, and that's very annoying. Let's try to just unscrew these. This seems about right. See if we can grab this. That's not the right one. That's a no-go. That is definitely not the right one. So it must be this one. But that seems too big. Let's try it. Yeah, I normally see, the thing is, I normally don't unscrew these because I just haven't found a way where I can get. So let me try to show you why. So the lens here has these three arms. So here and here and here. These three arms are the ones that you can see the screws on there. But in order to unscrew those arms, you have to go in from this side, and I don't know if you can see, but there's not a lot of space. So one of them is residing there. You can actually get to that one. The other one is residing over here. You could get to that one as well, but the last one is straight underneath this cable. So we can actually try it because it might be interesting to see. I know a lot of people want to keep those tabs on it, but so we can just try to see if we can actually do it here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to detach the sensor cable. So I'm going to go underneath the cable and just apply a little pressure, and now it's, as you can see, it's loose. Loosey-goosey. Here we go. So, but yeah, I'm not going to get into that. I don't know if you can see that. Let's try here. In order for me to unscrew that last screw, I have to go underneath here and down, which I cannot do. So instead, let me show you how I do it. Just because we're not going to get any further with this right now. We actually do have, let's see, is it stuck? Yeah, I mean, I could, in order to pull out the PCB right now, I need to destroy this wall over here because there are some things attached to it. But I'm going to do this the way I normally do it to make a full naked GoPro. The first thing we do is remove that lens. The second thing we do is we apply a piece of tape over the lens not to damage it. Here we go. Just stick it on there. And not, apparently, like I do, cover the screw holes. That's just a dumb idea. So, we take this. And even though these actually don't do anything, we still have to remove them. So we take these 4 screws. There we go. And then we do it like this. Let's see. Here we go. So now we've taken these out. Now this is actually one of the more tricky parts of the whole thing, because now we have to destroy some more stuff. I don't care about keeping the front screen because honestly I don't see a point for it. Yeah, it can be nice, but what I want to end up with is only this print board and only this lens, because that's the absolute lightest, and that's the point for me with this one. You can also make it in a different way, so you could make it like this. If you do it like this, you have a pretty strong metal frame. That's basically just keeping it like it is now and removing all the exterior shell. And then this with the legs on, with these metal legs on, is about 47 grams. And you can do different versions of this. You can also do this version, which is basically all hollow inside. So it's the same as this one, but I've kept the screw thing on here so I can put glass on and I can put ND fillers on. This is about 75 grams. But for this one, we're going to go fully naked because that's what we want to do. So in order to do that, we need to chop away, get under there. So let's get started. The only way to do this is just to damage stuff. And you need to actually damage it quite a bit. We could, yeah, let's just do that. So, because you cannot, let me illustrate why. You cannot just, see, and that's why we put tape on. Oh my god. Let's see if I actually did damage it. Nope, good. That's why you put tape on. So that's just what I want to show you guys. So you cannot move this, even though you remove these screws. It's not budging. Super annoying. So what I actually do normally is I do this. I need to go in from somewhere, and I like to go in from here, just doing some damage, because here you don't have a lot of space. We can try it, but as you can see, it's just pretty hard to actually get anywhere. So this annoying rubber stuff needs to go. Whoa, watch your fingers. I'm not talking to you guys, I'm talking to myself here. Yeah, knife. And when you're doing it from this side, you cannot hit anything because you're basically hitting the metal frame. You're actually hitting this when you're doing it. And you're hitting here as well. And I know it looks like you can hit that cable there. See that cable for the front screen? And you could technically do it, But in all the time I've done this, I've never done it. This, you cannot hit anything, and here you cannot hit anything. So that's why I'm using the knife. It's just, I think it's the best way of doing it. But others would probably disagree. What I'm doing here is I'm just gonna make a small dent. Once I have the dent, I just basically grab onto it and go into it. This one is being a little finicky today. God damn it. Just need a hole here. That's all I need. Oh, here we go. So again, once again, sorry, using the scissors. It's a really good way of digging through that glue in there. Here we go. Let's make a little bit more. Actually, I do think we have to go in the right way. So one way I've actually found out that you can get pretty easily in here is by just making a good dent, and then you can pull on it. So I'm doing this at an angle, if you can see. I don't know, holy shit, there goes the focus. Here we go. So I'm doing this at an angle. Can you see that? That angle right there. Then I'm gonna take the plier, and then I'm just gonna tear it. So once you do this, you can sometimes get a good piece of skin going, and then you can begin pulling. And sometimes you just need more knife. There we go. So and the reason I want to do this is because I need to get, oh, here we go again, focus. We need to get underneath this thing here, and to get underneath that thing, we need to get underneath this thing. It's, again, this is not an easy camera to break into, but it is definitely doable. Just need some patience and a little bit of dedication, and you're going to be fine. So make sure that if you're watching this and you actually end up making it, make sure you throw a comment with a link to your finished product. I'd love to see that. Okay, so here, look, now we can lift it up a little bit, but instead, look what I'm doing with these fantastic scissors. Cutting away. Now, what's residing under here is the microphone. You could choose to save it, and you will have a chance of saving it, but I'm not going to do that because I don't use the microphone. But it's right here. It's right under there, so you don't actually damage it just by doing this. But there's so much glue in here that you would not believe it. Here we go. So we're cutting all the way up here. Now you can actually see the, here you go. So you can also see the steel plate here, which is basically the reason why we can use the knife. And this is also a very good technique for peeling off. Just taking it like this, actually might sometimes be better with a tool like this. Just taking and just doing a sardine kind of thing where you just roll it, because you can sometimes break it apart in different pieces just by doing that. But you do need violence for this build here. So here we go. Okay, now we're almost there. Okay, so what we want is this corner up here. Damn, I'm sweating. This is hard work, but maybe I should open the window. Here we go. This is probably one of the most tedious things about this whole thing. And you have to remember that since all of this is glued together, if you don't loosen it over here and you try to lift up, it's going to be held down by that glue. Super annoying, but it is what it is. So you really ideally want to remove the whole skin. And again, you can take this at your own pace if you want to preserve that front screen. I do not care about the front screen, so I'm not going to. Plus I have like 8 of them. So that's not going to be a part of this, but I'll try to show you how you can preserve it. God damn it. Why you be so hard, GoPro? Why you be so hard? And if you hear the clicking sound, it's actually because I'm pushing on it so hard that it's clicking. I just want to disconnect this piece here from that piece there, because this is what we need to get into in order to get that lens out. So here we go. And again, I cannot damage anything because there's a whole metal plate behind that, so that's the reason for the violence. Let's take the scissor again. The only thing I can damage at this point is the lens itself. And I really don't want to do that, but hopefully we won't. So putting it under here, as you can see now we're actually in under it. This is good. Okay, seems like we're almost there. Yeah. So as you can see, that there's not a lot of room to work with. Might want to tighten up this gap. Oh my god. Let's see, like this. You see this? So put it in there, and then you could twist it, but now that we are actually separating everything, we're moving the back of it also. Let me see if you can see this on the camera. Yeah, like this. So we have to be a little bit careful now. So I don't want to push too much on this because we don't want to break anything here. So we just want to break this connection. We want this whole piece here to just be separate. So let's saw a little bit more, because why not? There we go, that's in there, that seems good. I'm gonna saw here. Here we go. Let's see if we can actually get in there now. This is actually the hardest one I've made so far. Probably because you guys are watching, but that's fine. We're gonna make it anyways. So, yeah, we really need to take your time by digging this thing out here, because the glue is just the problem with everything in this camera. So much glue. I think maybe GoPro has been sponsored by Loctite. This is ridiculous. Okay. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. I can feel that I'm slowly beginning to ruin this connection. Here we go. And to those of you that are discouraged by how hard this is, I mean, there are different ways of doing it. If you do have a Dremel, you could just, cut away like that. I'm doing it with hand tools because I don't like using a Dremel. And this makes it quite a bit harder, of course, but it also gives me time to kind of explain to you what the problem is, because I know that making something like this for the first time can be a daunting task, because you really second guess everything you're doing. So this allows me to explain a little bit more. What I'm trying to do right now is just make a groove where there's absolutely no, let's see if we can focus this, focus. I'm trying to make a groove where I can see the missile. Because once I've made that groove, I know that there's going to be no glue there. Can you push down your camera slightly? Yes, of course. You mean lower it? I can, but it's on feet. So it's on a tripod. So give me a sec. I'll try to do that. 1 second. So maybe like this. Is this a little better? Alright, I'm just going to continue. I hope it's better for you, Nas. Yeah, so where were we? We're gonna do this. Let me see if I'm in focus with the camera right now. Yeah, this seems good. So we're actually making this groove here. See, I think we're almost in there. So now we can put this in and we can sort of twist it. I'm not expecting it to lift up, but what I am expecting it to do is just show me where the weak points are or where it still needs work. See, this is good. That crackling sound is actually good, because that means we can now take it and we can take a piece of it like this. And that piece, we might get lucky. We weren't lucky, because what we want to do is we want to remove all this, and this is hard plastic. This is like really hard plastic. But we need that. We need that stuff to be gone. Otherwise, we cannot get this to be a fully naked camera. So once again, we take the scissor, we cut a little bit. Let's see, we have a point there. So that seems good. That seems legit. I'm going to cut a little bit more here because we need to make that break in the connection. Okay, sorry, this is... And again, let me remind you, the reason I can do this is because this is a metal plate all the way around. So you're not damaging anything like this, but you need to cut here in order to break that goddamn glue. So now we have a cut here. It feels good. We're gonna make a cut here that hopefully feels good as well. And then, getting my heat on. Then now we should be able to get in there and actually do stuff. Or not. Here we go. So now, just chipping away at this. Yeah, I can feel that it's all moving at least a little bit now. So let's see if I can show you. No, I cannot show you yet. Why you be so difficult, GoPro? You don't want to be naked? Come on, man. So it's basically what I'm doing now is I'm just looking for spots with hard plastic in it to snip so they don't hold onto each other. So it doesn't retain the strength of, you know, it doesn't want to be lifted up. So I need to break all of this, and this is such a tedious process. It's bullshit, to be honest. But what are you gonna do? And you can feel when you're cutting, when you're hitting metal. And by the way, this is not a professional knife. This is one of my wife's knives, and she hates the fact that I'm using it for this, which only makes it better. Let's see here. So, but you can hear when you're grinding into metal, and when you're hitting the metal, you know that you're actually on the right path because that's what you want to do. Oh, Jesus. So, okay, seems like we're almost there. Yeah, I think the reason they made it like this is, I don't think they made it like this in order for us not to, just clean this up a little bit, in order for us not to get into it, honestly, because they know that if you want to get into it, you're gonna get into it. I do think that it's a cost and efficiency thing because they're never gonna repair these, but it's gonna be cheaper for them to make it like this. And I just think that's the main thing. Plus, it's actually, I also think this camera is harder to destroy than the others. So from a pure action point of view, or action camera point of view, this is actually a really good idea for them. And I don't think they're crying over the fact that it's harder for us to get in there, because they probably have a lot of warranties on naked cameras due to their, you know, send it in any condition thing. Seems like we're actually there now. Almost in. The only corner I'm missing is this, and I think I can get that with the scissors. Yeah, okay, so let's see. Now, ideally, I want to remove this hard plastic here. We actually have to move this because I have to see what I'm doing when I'm snipping underneath here. Let's see if we can cut this off. And yeah, this is taking a really long time. I mean, I made one yesterday and it took me about 30 minutes, but I have actually made another one before that took me close to 2 hours. It's a matter of where you break it and how lucky you are in terms of, oh, this piece breaks off easily, or they used a lot of glue here. So, but it's never impossible. It's just a lot of work, to be honest. Let's do this. Just need to cut this off because I need to see what's going on underneath. Here we go. Yeah, I'm not really happy about that. So I still think the weak corner's up here. This is just annoying. Now, there is a faster way of doing this, which is going in from the front or actually removing the sideband all around. That is faster, but you also have a bigger chance of breaking stuff. You're not going to, but But this way, I feel that it's just the easiest way to do it in terms of, yes, it might take a little bit longer, but you do have a lot of control over everything you're doing, everything you're trying to accomplish. So it's just a lot of steps, honestly. Okay, so let's try lifting this. Yeah, it's lifting there. There's no right. What do you think? There's no right to repair in this. Yeah, I mean, you cannot repair it now. This is. But it's not that hard making it naked. And if you do have the GoPro subscription, I mean, it is virtually costless for you. Because if it goes bad, you can just send it in, you get a new one. You can just do this twice on your GoPro app though. But it is legal, and that is how it works. At least that's what I'm telling myself. But no, it should be legal. Yeah, or it is legal. It should be very possible to do. Okay, I'm actually, this screen is annoying me because normally I don't care about this screen, which means that I can easily get in from this side as well. So I think that's why this is taking so long. I should have just killed the screen over here, to be honest. But yeah, we don't have to do that, do we? We don't have to do that. I don't think so, because we do have a broken connection here. Okay. Now you die, camera. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, now we've broken that here. That's nice. It's up here. That's the issue. See, again, this is the thing about, you have to break these goddamn connections. You have to make sure that the glue is not holding it down, because this is not just glue, this is like glue that they're using on Mars or something. It's insane. It's so tough to get this glue out. Actually, I think that this one might have been a prime. This is the one they showed all the other models on how well the glue is. This is like the prototype. Like, yeah, you can never open this. Look at this, guys. It's fantastic. I've got a museum model or something. Okay. Let's see here. I just want to get this piece. Here we go. Just need to remove all this gunk here. That's the problem, because if we don't remove this, I cannot see what's underneath. See, I can lift this part. I cannot lift this part, so this is still stuck. It's quite annoying, actually. Okay, I might just have to break this goddamn screen. Oh well, let's do it. So I hope you guys are having a better weekend than this camera is. Okay, let's do this. Come on. We need to just go in there and remove this. This is the culprit. That's the screen. Yeah, see, look at this. Okay, let's do this. So we take a scissor. Let's speed this up a little bit. I'm going to take a scissor right here. And now I know that I'm going to cut the cable for this, but I do not care, because I don't need the screen. I really don't do it. If you need it, you don't want to make the cuts I'm doing right now. Because that's, let's see here. Sorry, I thought that was something important. It wasn't. So let's see here. There we go. And then this here. There we go. This here. Now we should have enough, and we should be in. Yep. See, yeah, I know. 100% I damaged the cable for the front screen now. And as I said, I don't care, because it's unnecessary weight and I don't use it. So if you don't want to do that, the cable is right here. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to use a scissor that way, like this. But having said that, I have done a few of these by now. This is the first time I on purpose cut that cable. This is actually more to save you guys time watching this, because it's this is getting to be too slow. let's do this. Here we go. So, okay, this is what I wanted to get to. So we want to be able to see underneath this piece. That's kind of the most important thing here. I just want to break this connection here. There we go. So now we should be able to see under here. Yeah, we do. And I want to remove this edge here. So I'm just going to cut in one place, and hopefully I can begin clawing away on it. I actually just need one piece. Come on, bastard. And the reason that I have to do all of this, for those of you that for some reason have skipped to the middle of it, is that you cannot get the lens out otherwise. You need to do this, unfortunately, because the lens is secured with 3 screws that are stuck on the inside and cannot be accessed all the way from the back. They can only be accessed from the front by snipping the holders of the screws. Okay, here. Yeah, so I should have done this from the beginning. I apologize for wasting your time. It is what it is, though. Let's see here. So I just want to snip this. Come on. What I'm doing now is I'm using the screwdriver to make a gap so that I can hopefully snip one of these pieces here and get a grip of it, get a hold of it so I can pull it out, because this is sitting all the way around. Let's see if that works. I'm losing viewers right and left, which is fine. I didn't actually think anybody was going to watch this as a live stream, but I'm simply making this to give a more thorough, in-depth version of how you do this for those of you that actually wants to do this. Because I know that the last one I made was maybe a little more concise and edited, but I had so many questions after, how do you do this, how do you do that? And I think that one of the things I like about people making videos, especially real time, is you do get too much information in a way, and this means that you do have more support when it goes wrong. So you do have more ways of saying, okay, I get it. Okay, so I'll pause this one and I'll do what he's doing, but he has this problem and I have this problem. You know, it's just a bit more conclusive. And I need to do this anyways. So, all right, let's see here. So it's still binding over here. That's the problem. This is still glued. Goddamn glued. Here we go. Yep. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So now we're actually getting somewhere. Finally. Oh my God. There's always like one point with these cameras where you get stuck and everything stops. I will say though, this camera actually seems, for some reason, like it's a lot harder to do than the others. It seems like the plastic is harder, and I don't know. Okay, so this is what I want to break. I want to break this plastic right here. I need to do that in order to actually get in there. Sorry about the shitty camera thing. Okay, here, see, now we're getting somewhere. That was a big piece I broke off. Now we want to do it again with another big piece, hopefully. Let me see if I can show you what I'm doing here. So I'm trying to get this plastic right here, just breaking it, just to get it out, because that plastic is covering the edge all the way around on the inside, and you need to get that out. This, now I'm just grabbing it and pulling, just a grabbing and a pulling. So now we're actually almost at the point. Yeah. So here is the next next thing that we want to watch. So this right here, you might be able to see a hint of something silver here. So this is the metal piece, and then there's a small black plastic piece right here, and then underneath that there is a small screw. That screw is this one right here. So we could actually find a tool and oh, it's not this one, it's down here in between. You cannot see it on camera. I don't think that's going to be possible. Let's see here. Okay, so all the way down here in the black, in the deepness of the black, there's a screw. We can try to unscrew this one, but I do not think I have the tool for it, because that screw is very particular. It's a kind of Torx that is not a Torx. I don't even remember what it's called. It doesn't matter though, because even if we get that one out, there's still going to be other screws that we cannot get out. But let's see for the fun of it if we can actually get a hold of this one. We cannot with this. Nope, not with this either. And nah, we don't have anything to get that out. And it's also very far away. So what I normally do, and this is how I do it, is I see the plastic piece right there. Let's see if you can see it for some reason here. Let's see. So that plastic piece right there, to the left of my right fingernail, that's the piece we want to break. There's 3 of these pieces all the way around. So now I'm taking this, just gonna basically break it. I'm actually gonna take something a little bit sharper. Just gonna put it on, and let's remove this blue thing here. We don't need that. Okay, I'm trying to do this as well as you can see it. I just want to break it because that's the plastic holding onto it. So it's just about smashing it basically, so that it cannot hold onto the camera. But as with everything else in this build, it doesn't want to be smashed. God damn it. So the reason I'm doing this is because it's metal, and now it should be free. Alright, so on to the next one, because there are 3 of those, one there, one there, and one there. And we need those to be gone. Thanks, Connor. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to explain this, because it's I mean, it's not that cut and dry. You know, you cannot just say, oh, do this and you're gonna be fine, because you can't on this camera. So oh, wait. Here, there's another one I want to show you guys here. So here you can actually see if the camera will focus. You can see that silver thing in the middle of, like, next to my screwdriver. That's the next bolt, and that one right there, I'm touching it. That's the one that we cannot get to from this side. That's actually the annoying one. So in theory, you could cut this one only and leave the other 2 and unscrew those from the back if you have the right tool. I don't have the right tool, and I do have a lot of tools. So just the fact that I don't have it makes me think that you might not have it either, or the majority of you might not have it. In order to do this, I really want to get this plastic away. This is pissing me off, because I normally just take this plastic off, but today it's one of those days where everything fails, which is fine. That means tomorrow is going to be great. Here we go. Oh, come on. Why do you want to live there, plastic? You have no purpose living there. It's just move on with your life. Go meet some other plastic. Enjoy yourself, man. You're young. Just don't live here. God damn. Okay. Plastic doesn't want to move. Okay. Oh, this goddamn plastic. I'm going to write a very angry letter to Gopro soon, asking them why they're making it so hard for me to smash their camera. They might not respond. Alright, here we go. One piece. Here we go, another piece. Yes. Okay, so now I can maybe, probably, oh shit. Dropped a piece of glass. So now I can show you. So that's the one. So what you want to do is you want to go in here and you want to smash this little plastic piece here. This is very hard to show you. Ooh. know if I can even show you guys. Yeah, this little plastic piece here is what you want to smash. That's what you want to destroy. Now I have to look at it myself. I cannot hold it on the camera. Yeah, okay, here we go. So now I cut something off from it. I don't know if you can see that, exposing a bit of the screw. Just basically mushing a scissor in there and just cutting. Because it's such a small plastic piece holding this screw. So just you have to smash this, otherwise you're never going to get that lens out. See, now it's getting exposed. So I don't know if you can see that I've, let's see if we can get it to focus. Focus. You might be able to see that. So now it's exposed. It seems like it's almost there, but that's a little bit off to the side. But we're almost there. So that seems pretty good. Now we're going to go for the last one. Hopefully this is going to play ball a little bit better. So see, now I can finally get it. This is what I wanted to do the whole time, but for some reason it was just extra hard to do today. This is how it normally goes. So you do that. Look at that piece. Holy crap. Okay, so yeah, now it's time to show you something here. So we take off the plastic, the guard from our lens, and before I do anything else, I actually want to make a new piece, because I'm going to put it on again, and if I don't make a new piece, I'm going to forget it. Let's put that right here. Good. So now I can push from the back. When I push from the back, I can push it out, as you can see. The reason I can do this now is because I have basically broken these things here. The ideal solution now would be if I could somehow angle the camera and unscrew these things and get it out, but I cannot do that. Instead now, what I can do is, since I can pull the lens out a little bit more, I can see these screws being exposed. So that's one of the places. Let's actually remove this blue. This is annoying. Come on. Blue doesn't want to go. Blue is annoying. Come on, blue is sus. Here we go. So here you can actually see the problem. Let me get a focus on here. Come on, focus. Yeah. So what you can see here, hopefully, let's get the focus going. Okay. I hope you can see this. This is the actual screw. And this piece of plastic right here, the black piece here, is holding on that screw from both sides. So what I want to do is, because the screw is actually going through that plastic, so what I need to do is, I have to hold this a different way to do it. I need to nip, kind of ruin that plastic piece. It's holding it. If I don't do that, there's no way I'm going to get this out. So what I did there is I just bit off the actual top of the screw, because you can do that. So we're going to remove this. We're going to go to the next screw over here. First I want to remove this blue piece. You can see that the next screw here, see that one. So that one actually has a little bit of plastic as well, but we don't care. We're going to bite it off. Again, watch your eyes when you're doing this. That is a little bit harder. So, come on. Basically, oh, sorry about that. So I'm holding it here. I'm just nipping against it, just in order to eat away from the plastic, basically. But this is hard. This is very, very hard, because biting off a screw head like that is not easy. So on some of them you can do it. On some of them you can't. This one I can never bite off. I don't know why. I think it's made of titanium or Superman P. I don't know. It's very, very hard. So let's use the scissors again, just gnawing on that plastic, because it's such a small piece of plastic actually holding this. So all you want to do is, yeah, now I think I got this one actually. This might be loose. So let me see if I can show you the final result of what it's supposed to look like. So that is the screw uncovered. Now we need the last one. So let's just put this piece of protective tape on top again. See, I actually forgot about this already. So the last one is this one. And this one, I don't know if you can see, it has a faint, just a hint of black on each side. So it is still being held by plastic. Taking this scissor, we're just gnawing on it. No. And I think we should, oh, it's almost done. It's almost there, come on. Come on, baby. Let's see, I'm sorry if I'm not holding it correctly for the camera right now, because this is pretty hard to show while you're doing it. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is super hard to do while showing to the camera. Okay, one sec, I have to remove it off camera because I have to give it some support from my buddy. Now, once you see this in real life, you're gonna definitely see that this is, you're gonna see how you need to do it. So this is almost off. It's holding on in such little plastic that you wouldn't believe it, but that's enough for it to seem stuck. So you really have to be careful and meticulous and get all that plastic out. You are very welcome to try this your own way, and if you find a better way of doing this portion here, do let me know, because I'm sure there's another way of doing it. I just haven't had the time to find it. So it's actually this little piece here that's holding it. It's just a fragment of a piece in here. Okay, let's see. So now I do believe I've loosened all the screws. So what I do now is I take this here, and now this whole thing here is just a rubberized piece of whatever. I'm basically just loosening it because this also acts as a glue. Let's see if I can pull on it so you can see what I'm talking about. It's like this. So this is sitting all around. This is also part of what's holding the lens in place. So take this piece here. Look at that. And this last one here, I actually see that this one has not been cut. Yes. It's very hard to film. So once you have removed this, you can actually very clearly see clearly see what's missing a removal. So this one looks like it's good, but when you come over here, I don't know if you can see that, but look at this. That right there is a piece of black goddamn plastic still attached. It's almost nothing, really, like next to nothing, but it's there, and that means that we need to kill it. Otherwise we're never going to get this out. So I do think that this one is in the clear now. This one over here I simply nicked off, so that should be fine. And then we have the last one here. This looks fine as well, but if you see, there's a small piece of black plastic. It's almost nothing, but okay. Yeah, it's like literally next to absolutely nothing, but it needs to go. So I'm just grinding away again here because it's so hard to get in there. Anything else? See, now I can see that it's actually gone. But it's still stuck. Oh my god. Okay. So much more carefully. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's this one still that's holding, which is insane because it's holding on with almost nothing. There's like literally nothing left there, but apparently it's enough to keep it from falling off. Again, this normally also takes not that long. So this is a first in many ways for me. It's really taking a long time to do this today, which is fine. I mean, for those of you that are going to make this yourself, you're probably going to be happy that it's not just a and then you sit there with a bunch of problems and you don't understand why. So I think this might be good for everybody. Yeah, it's not loosening. It's actually not coming off, and I do not know why. But it must be. Yeah, it must be. It just simply must be that I didn't cut away all the plastic. So we're going to have to cut some more. Now I'm going to put the scissor on. I'm going to actually turn it to see if I can somehow smash the remaining piece of plastic there. Because this is crazy. I do think that this model has more glue on it than any other model I've tried. I mean, this is an insane amount of glue. I wonder if it's newer and they're trying to stop us from doing this. That would be kind of fun. But they can't. That will never work. Yeah, let's try something here. So if we remove this piece of tape again, you can now see that, let's see here. You can see that the lens is actually shifted. That's a sign that we did cut out one of the places, but oh my God, this is stuck so hard in there. That's actually unusual. What's happening now? Yeah, this is really stuck in there. It's a good thing for those of you not watching live that you actually have the ability to fast forward, because this is taking forever. So I estimate that you should fast forward 5 minutes from now. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I can see that it's loose here. Can you see that? So you see that this part here is actually loose. So it's the others that are not loose. Let's try just being a little bit more violent. Let's take a bigger snipper and just snip off this head here, which is harder than it seems. I just want to bite the head off, but oh my God, here we go. So that was actually the culprit. Here we go. Finally, oh my God, let me just real quick remove some of this. God damn it, this was a new mouse mat. I bought it yesterday. What am I doing? I'm such an idiot. Oh well. I need to vacuum this after. Oh my God. So, yeah. Now we have everything. We're actually getting close to being done. Now, if we turn this around, you can see that there's still a cable attached here. Let me find that thing. So there's a cable attached down here, and that cable is for the front screen. We just want to loosen this because we want to make sure that once we pull this out, that it doesn't tag along. The reason that we cannot move this right now, as you can see, everything is still stuck in the case, is because of this part over here. So over here there are some things on the sides, but let's do one thing at a time. The first thing we want to do is remove the lens. So push it slowly back. Then I like to grab onto this piece here, and there you go. That's the lens for the GoPro 9. And the lens is very important because the lens has the gyro part in it. So this is actually what enables the gyroscope to work. The gyroscope portion of it, if you use real steady and all these things, is not stuck on the board. It's stuck in the lens as part of it. I'm going to put a piece of tape over it because you can always clean that. I'm going to set it aside. So now we want this to go out. And I cannot move it. As you can see, it's still stuck in there. So the first thing we do is check for more screws. Nope, buddy. So it's this bit over here. What we want to do with this bit over here is destroy it. Oh my God, you didn't see that one coming, but that's actually fairly easy. You simply go nuts in a spot. Oh, and by the way, this one you might want to loosen as well. So what we're losing here, and we are going to lose this bit here, is there's two of them. There's one here, by the way, and there's one here. So what you lose by this is you lose this portion over here. That's the mode button. We don't need that. So, and I can't conceive of a build where I would say that it would be a good idea to keep these pieces, because it's just, why would you do that on a naked build? So what I'm doing now is just making some edges, and then I want this piece to come out. And this piece is actually residing underneath the board, so you have to be a little bit careful with it. We want to smash some more stuff. So I'm getting a text. I have to see if this is important. Yeah. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bite these chunks off, and then we're gonna go over here. And now we should hopefully be able to actually see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna do this, so wedge it in between and just break it off. Do you see that? Wedge in between and break off. So wedge in between and break off. Ugh. And over here as well. Once we've done this, we should be able to remove the main board. Like so, and like so, like so. Okay, so like this. Oh my god, this is so hard. So we want to remove this. See if we can actually almost remove it. Now you want to be a little bit careful, because you don't want this underpiece to scratch the PCB on the other side. So you ideally want to cut all of this off, get all the way down. Oh, come on, you plastic rubbery piece of crap. Get all the way down here. Take these pieces right here and see now what you can do here. Look at that. Here we go. Now we can take this off, and when you do this, be a little bit careful, because some things can get stuck on it. This is what I was talking about with removing the whole frame. You can do this also. That's also a method, but it's not as easy as it looks. Nothing is on this. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing this. Watch this. You can see that the speaker there. Now this is not a controversial thing, but it's something that people are talking about. This speaker is actually working right now, but I will remove it, and I want to explain why. First, let me remove it. Okay, you have to go, speaker, like right now. The reason I'm removing it is I kept the speaker on the beginning, and I hope you can see that there's like two legs here. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Can we focus? Camera, can we focus, please? Yeah, it doesn't want to focus. Two legs there. So I had the microphone on, I was flying, and I crashed at some point, and my camera didn't work afterwards. And what happened was that I tried everything, and then I discovered that it had been yanking on this one, so I pulled it off, and I couldn't get it to work. So I basically thought the GoPro was dead. It turns out that one of these legs had damaged one of these legs, so those two were touching each other, and that's why the camera wouldn't start up. So for that reason, I don't want anything to be on my GoPro. I really just want the GoPro to be naked. The school of thought I have on this is either it has to be fully naked, or it has to be like a fully semi GoPro. So yeah, no microphones for me. It is easier in many ways having the microphone, and also having sometimes having the LEDs, and the LEDs are actually placed on this board up here. But we'll get to that. So look at this. We're slowly but surely taking this way. Here you have to be a little bit careful, because the button is under there. So I like to go in and just give it a nudge, take it, and then just do like this. Maybe even going from the other side. So the reason that it's acting up is because the glue right here. So yeah, we don't want to mess with that. Here we go. So that's a GoPro. All right, let's try and power it up and see what happens. The first thing we got to do is we got to take the lens. So when we take the lens, what we do is we plug it in. And you have to remember that doing all of this requires you to actually have a custom GoPro 9 case, which doesn't exist. I've made some and I might share these soon, but if you know a little bit about 3D printing and a little bit about 3D modeling, you can make something yourself quite fast. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to line this perfectly. So I'm actually first doing a visual. Does it look like it lines up? Then I'm pushing a little bit, and then if I can push a little bit and it goes sort of click, I can push it in. Now it's just sitting here. What we want to do next is we want to place this one. This is the USB-C port because we want to power this up right now. So, and this is a bit hard with this thing on. We could remove this thing, but I'm just going to wait for a second. I just want to, actually, no, that's kind of besides the point. Let's remove that. Sorry, my bad. My bad. I promised a fully naked GoPro. That's what we're doing. So in order to make it fully naked, you need to remove this screw. Boom. You need to remove this screw down here. There we go. You need to remove this screw over here. And once you've done that, you can remove this. So this is where the start-stop button is on and the LED is on. And what are we missing? We're missing a screw down here. So now we have a GoPro. Very nice, very nice. So this you don't need, you can take it off. Here we go. That's a GoPro 9. Let's click this in and just power it up and make sure everything's working. So again, let me see if I can show you how I'm doing this. First, I'm visually aligning it. Slowly, not a lot of pressure, and then suddenly I can feel that, oh, it's there, and then I click it and I can kind of feel and hear the click. Be careful when you do this that you don't scratch the lens. That's a bad thing to do. This one, again, set up here. It's this one. It's not this one. It's this one. It's this one. You should, and notice how I'm holding it. It's not going in like this. You can do that, but I don't even know if you're supposed to turn these plugs around. I don't think it matters on this one. I actually think I've done it before, but do it the right way. So this is a little bit harder. Let's see if I can get this in. Visually align it. Then click it. All right, so before I power up, I want to make sure that nothing is conductive below it. I want to take my power bank. I want to turn it. And then this is a pretty flimsy cable, so I actually do want to, let's get some focus here. I do want to hold it while I'm plugging this in. That. Now it should be powering up. So what we do now is we go to the GoPro and we find this one. I don't even remember which of the cameras this is. It's either Mr. Morrison or Mr. Buckley. Camera found. There we go. Boop. And update. Do I? No, I don't want to update. You're trying to trick me. Oh my God. Don't trick me. Never update the camera. So here we go. Enable preview. Do you want to connect? I really do want to connect, actually. That would be so nice, please. The red line is because I have no SD card in there. La, 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 la. It's taking its time connecting. And I will say, this can sometimes happen. It's not very often it happens. What I do is exit, go in again. We look at the camera, it's connected. Control the GoPro again, and I would say keep your phone close when you're doing this because the Wi-Fi is not that strong on this. I actually don't know where the Wi-Fi is. I just know that I've been doing this. Look at this. It's working. Yay. Can you see that? So it's working perfectly. So that's working. Now the next portion of this would be to put it inside a case in order to take this out. Well, see, that's the thing about Connor. That's the thing about the Wi-Fi antenna. I have not put a Wi-Fi antenna on this. I don't know where it is. Nobody has done this before, so nobody can tell me where it is. But I have been using mine for close to 7 months for a lot of tasks, and it hasn't burned out any camera yet. The only thing I do is I put my phone very close to it while I start and stop it, and that's it. And it just works. So honestly, if you find out where the Wi-Fi antenna is going to be, let me know. Could be that there's something on here, could be this little thing here. I don't know. But I am not going to try and test, where I should solder something, because I actually don't know. Let me show you how I actually normally would use this camera. So the casing I've made for this, let's pop this off. The casing I normally use for this is this one. So what I do here is I put it in like that, slide it down, and let's see if we can do this in real time. Oh yeah, I forgot one thing. And this is something I do, so this might not work for you. I've made this many times before, and I always remove these. Because the way I use these cameras is that I make a mount that has a press fit solution. So the round camera goes into a round hole, and it is press fit to fit that. Because that actually allows me to make some designs that works pretty well that way. Let's actually do it this way. So I'm just gonna take it off. So what I do is take the board, oops, here, put it in. There's a small pocket down there, if you will. I lift it up. This is TPU, so it's just basically like a glove. You can see all the bits and pieces sticking out. I'm not going to actually hook this up because I'm going to use this in a different way, but I'm then putting it into the hole. And I'm making sure this goes under. And then I'm just pressing. Press, 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 press. And once it's here, it fits so that if I take an ND filter like this one, and I put it on like this, and like this, it fits perfectly. There you go. And as for the back piece, what I do is, let me see, I didn't plan on showing this, so I have to find a back piece. I don't have a back piece. Hang on. Where do, oh wait, it's up here. No, I have no back pieces. Oh my god, guys. Well, I printed a back piece for it, and this back piece is actually, here we go, this one. So that's a back piece. So because I don't like screws, so what you do here is there's grooves inside that fit, and once you put it on here and you click, everything goes in. Now this is actually the wrong one because it's a little bit bigger normally, but normally it just clicks in, and as you can see, there's a lot of holders on it. You can probably see better on this model right here. See here, we put it in, and then everything clicks inside. That's actually the wrong one, that's why. Oh my god, no! We're finding the right one, here we go. Look at this. Snap, snap, crackle and pop. And once it's in there with everything, and it's the right size, because this one is actually way too thick, as you might be able to see, it just clicks in and it fits. I've made this to hold some batteries. The other way of doing it with a GoPro that I don't think many people realize, and this is just a pro tip before we end the stream for all you guys that are new to this, and you don't have a 3D printer, and you might not know how to make a 3D print, or how to design one. It's a simpler method. So let's get this out of here. As you can see, this TPU is very, very soft, right? So you just cram it, just pull it, and it works. So the other way of doing it, you simply take your GoPro, you hook it up, make sure you line everything carefully, you measure, do like this, do like that, bada bing, bada boom. Look at how simple that is. Why do not more people do this? That's just perfect. There you go. And that's your GoPro 9. So I hope you enjoyed the live stream. I'm gonna end it now. Take care and let me know what you've made. So bye bye guys.